You've been given a script, a life script. It tells you that if you labor with integrity, if you are loyal, and if you are diligently contributing to a retirement fund, wealth will be your eventual reward. It's a script rooted in the virtue of hard work, but you have followed this script. You've played your part, and yet you feel a deep and unnerving sense of running in place. You feel as though you were wading through mud where every forward step is met with twice the resistance. The question you must ask is not, am I failing? But rather, was the script I was given written for the game that is actually being played today? Because the game of wealth is not and has never been won by honest labor alone. It is won through an understanding of power, of systems, and of human psychology. This is not another list of financial tips. This is a diagnosis of the fundamental principles of power that govern wealth. The modern economy is a theater of psychological strategy. You have been sent into this theater with a program for a different play. Your failure to advance is not a result of a lack of effort or deficit in intelligence. You are failing because you do not perceive the nature of the game itself. The rules you were taught rewarded compliance. The new game rewards strategic leverage. To win, you must first see the board as it is. You must grasp the ruthless, unchanging truths that dictate the flow of capital, the psychological traps set for the masses, and the strategic keys that grant you freedom. Here are the 5 truths that govern your financial reality. The first truth is the most fundamental. You operate under the belief that your hard work and loyalty to a single employer will be recognized and rewarded with prosperity. This belief, while noble, is the strategic equivalent of defending a castle with a single exposed wall. In the last century, a pact was forged, loyalty in exchange for security. That pact has not just been broken, for most it has become strategically obsolete. Today, relying on a single source of income, like a job, is a state of profound fragility. More importantly, it makes you controllable. A person whose entire livelihood depends on one paycheck is a person who cannot negotiate from a position of power, who cannot take calculated risks, and who cannot walk away from an arrangement that no longer serves their long-term strategy. Your dependency is your employer's natural leverage. This is not a moral failing on their part, it is simply the physics of power. The answer is to not work harder within the system. The answer is to build leverage outside of it. You must begin to shift your thinking from that of an employee to that of an owner. This does not require a dramatic departure from your job tomorrow. It begins with the cultivation of assets independent of your employer. Your first asset is a skill the market values highly. Your second is to convert that skill into even a small independent stream of income. The goal here is to not get immediately rich. The goal is to reduce your dependency step by step. That small stream of income is your first move towards strategic freedom. It is the beginning of your escape. You believed that through sheer discipline, you can budget your way to wealth and resist the constant temptation of a consumer society. This is a valiant but deeply flawed assumption. You must understand that the modern marketplace is a system engineered to seek out and exhaust your willpower. One-click purchasing, algorithmically targeted advertising, buy now, pay later services. These are not mere conveniences. They are psychologically refined weapons designed by teams of specialists to separate the pleasure of acquisition from the pain of payment. You are not fighting a personal lack of discipline. You are standing against a multi-trillion-dollar apparatus whose purpose is to monetize your impulses. It is a battle of attrition, and you are not designed to win. The strategic solution is not to fight this war on its terms. You must redesign the battlefield. You must build a fortress. This is the principle of paying yourself first, executed with strategic intent. When your income arrives, a portion of it must be moved automatically to a financial bastion that is difficult for you to access. This should be an account at a separate institution. You should not have the mobile application for this bank on your phone. The debit card, if one exists, should be secured elsewhere. You must engineer friction into the act of spending and remove all friction from the act of saving. Discipline is not an emotional state you must summon. It is a system you design. True financial power is not found in resisting temptation, but in making temptation irrelevant to your strategy. Your wealth must be protected, first and foremost, from your own momentary weaknesses. Our culture has created a narrative that separates debt into good and bad categories. A mortgage is framed as an investment, a student loan, a down payment on a future career. While there can be truth to this, the overarching narrative is a masterpiece of marketing that primarily serves the lender. High interest consumer debt, from credit cards to personal loans, is a form of modern servitude. It is presented to you as a convenience and freedom. Its true function, however, is to convert your future labor into a predictable revenue stream for a financial institution. A person servicing high interest debt becomes a more predictable, more controllable economic unit. They are less likely to change careers, to start a business, or to make any move that might disrupt their ability to make their monthly payments. While a carefully considered mortgage on an income producing property can be a powerful tool, it is the mindset that debt is a normal and acceptable part of life that is the true poison. It numbs you to the reality of the situation. Every dollar you pay in interest is a tax on your own future, paid to a system that profits from your impatience. The solution is to view high interest consumer debt not as a financial line item, but as a strategic threat that must be neutralized with extreme prejudice. Your journey to wealth does not begin when you start investing. It begins the moment you commit to annihilating this parasitic drag on your resources. Zero is the launch pad. Every day you remain in high interest debt, you are funding the opposition. Modern society is saturated with the performance of wealth. The luxury car, the designer clothing, the curated vacation photos. These are the theatrical props of prosperity. And you feel an immense pressure to participate in this theater, to signal to others and to yourself that you are succeeding. This is a trap. It is a tax on the unenlightened, designed to keep them running in place. You are confusing the symbols of wealth with the substance of it. The person with an $80,000 car financed over 7 years is almost always far poorer than the person driving a 10-year-old vehicle who has 6 figures compounding quietly in an investment account. Playing the status game is a fool's errand. It demands constant energy and resources, and it guarantees you will remain on a financial treadmill going nowhere. You spend your money to signal to others that you have money, which leaves you with no money. The strategic response is to operate in stealth mode. Practice financial secrecy. True wealth is not built for an audience. It is accumulated in silence. When you receive a raise or a windfall, your lifestyle must remain unchanged. That surplus is not for consumption, it is for acquisition. Let others play the game of social signaling. You must play the game of quiet accumulation. Like the wise ruler, your power should not need to be broadcasted. It should be felt in your strategic patience and your silence growing strength. These truths are not comforting. They are strategic principles. If you are ready to stop playing by the rules of a game designed for you to lose and are prepared to learn the mechanics of power required to build your own, subscribe to this channel. We do not deal in platitudes here. We deal in strategy, wealth building, and common sense. When money enters your possession, what is the primary question your mind asks? For the vast majority, the question is, what can I buy with this? This is the default setting of the consumer. It is the psychological foundation upon which the entire economic machine is built to exploit. The builders of wealth, the players of the real game, see money through an entirely different lens. For them, money is not primarily a tool for spending. It is a tool for acquisition. Every dollar is a soldier to be deployed. Its mission is not to be sacrificed for a fleeting pleasure, but to be sent into the field to capture territory and return with more soldiers. This territory takes the form of income producing assets, shares of a business, a piece of cash flowing real estate, or a stake in the global economy through index funds. To escape the gravity of your current financial state, you must force a fundamental change in your relationship with money. You must transition your identity from that of a consumer to that of an owner and an investor. This begins by asking a different question, not what can my money buy, but how can this money be deployed to acquire more assets? This strategy begins with establishing a small emergency fund, a buffer that grants you strategic flexibility. But once this is in place, every surplus dollar becomes a soldier. You begin small, investing with relentless consistency, buying small pieces of productive assets. This shift in mindset is the single most critical step in moving from a pawn in the game to a player. These 5 truths are not separate tactics. They are a single, cohesive operating system for viewing the world. You were taught to be a good employee. You were taught to trade your time for money. This is the formula for survival. The formula for wealth, for power, for true freedom is to reverse that equation. You must learn to use your money to buy back your time. This is achieved by moving from a single point of failure to multiple streams of income. It is achieved by building automated systems that protect you from your own worst impulses. It is achieved by annihilating parasitic debt. It is achieved by abandoning the performance of wealth for the silent accumulation of assets. And it is all driven by a fundamental shift in your core identity from consumer to owner. The diagnosis is complete. You now see the architecture of the cage. The work of forging the key begins now. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.